Welcome back once again to our podcast channel. Today we're going to be discussing West Indies versus Australia and the chances of India actually making it into the semi-finals. Who want to kick us off with Australia versus West Indies? I know guys are hopeful here because South Africa is involved also.
42-year-old Chris Gayle. Shout out to him, man. He's doing big things. Unity boss. So hopefully I think this is going to be his last international knock. Hopefully he gets some runs. Even if he gets a quick fire 20, I'll be very satisfied.
Did they F up by taking Chris Gayle for this World Cup?
I think that was a mistake. I think Chris Gayle probably went over that top hill 3, 4, 5 years ago. I don't think he should be playing international cricket for West Indies anymore. It's unfortunate or fortunate that we get to see him for the last time. Unfortunate that we get to see him not doing so great on his way really, really out. But fortunate that we do actually get to see the universe one last time. So yeah, hopefully he does big things and the West Indies bring it home and assist South Africa and us just scraping through.
Aluani, what are the chances, Chief? Do you see it? West Indies beating Australia?
I actually see it. I don't think it's far-fetched. Well, today Australia played very well, but they were not chasing a big total. But they've not been playing well. Their games are shaky. They almost choked against South Africa, chasing 119, and they struggled in phases against Bangladesh. Against Sri Lanka, and today it was Bangladesh just didn't pitch, and they played very well. But I don't think Australia has enough. They've one out-and-out spinner, and we've seen in this tournament that spinners are very important.
So there you go. But we all know here that West Indies simply don't have bowlers.
Yeah, look, Ravi, bless him. Ravi is. I mean, if the universe king is over the head, he's never been to that sort of high field. So I don't. West Indies, like you say, have absolutely no bowlers. So they shouldn't worry. They shouldn't worry the Australian batsmen whatsoever. And that's why I think that Australia stand an even greater chance, because West Indies could not bowl to save their lives in this tournament. So yeah, and the two big hitters have not come through in the competition as well for the Windies as much as I thought they would. So yeah, I really cannot see. I can't see the West Indies making it through. I can't see us making it through, and I cannot see India making it through. It's unfortunate, but that's what I don't see.
I'm very disappointed with DJ Bravo. I mean, he's a seasoned campaigner now, and you expect more from him. He knows the conditions well, having played there in the Middle East, rather in Asian subcontinent for such a long amount of time with IPLs especially. I mean, he is the T20 specialist, really, but like he's been nowhere to be found during this tournament. Last words there, Luani, before we move on.
Yeah, so DJ Bravo, he is not that well, but he's still a very good bowler in T20 condition. He is the slow ball, the Yorker, particularly his variation. They're very good at the end, but he doesn't have support around him. Ravi Rampu last played T20 international in 2015. So I was quite surprised that he was picked. Last time I saw this guy was maybe around 2015, 2014. I was very surprised, but there's this notion of picking players based on domestic T20 competitions, and I think he did well in the Caribbean IPL version, and that's why he's picked. But around him, there's just not enough bowlers. There's just not enough bowlers, good quality bowlers, and they've been struggling in that regard. And I hope they bring the betting. The betting improves in this coming match against Australia. And it's not so much about the bowling, but they're struggling in the bowling department. Like Tumelo said, if I was to take a risk, well, there's no risk for them to take because they're out of the competition. I was going to drop Chris Gayle, but it's this last match, most international match, so it can't be dropped. but he's definitely over the hill.
Look, if anything, then the West Indies should be motivated because Quinton de Kock finally took the knee. And I mean, yeah, that's the only thing that should motivate them to play for us. Look, let's go into India and making the semi-finals. It's not looking good. I mean, Pakistan is already in there. You've got Afghanistan on 4 points. You've got New Zealand on 4 points. India on 2 points. They have to win all their games. But most importantly, they have to win them well.
Yeah, no, look, New Zealand does not have the most difficult games coming up. So they're already in there. I fully expect New Zealand to make it. India will do very well in their last games. I've seen the guys have had some sort of batting form, which is always good to see. Rohit and Rohit flying is always a sight to behold. But unfortunately, it's a little too late. We can't. I don't think New Zealand makes any errors going forward. New Zealand have never been a team of superstars, but they've always got the job done. And don't we know that very well as South Africans?
You're on mute there, Tumelo.
Yeah, I also second that. I don't see India making it. I mean, New Zealand has to fail dismally. New Zealand has to fail dismally for India to make it, and I don't see it happening. I believe New Zealand is going to beat Afghanistan, and that's the end of it. Like we said, there's a lot of pressure on India, and losing that first game just added more pressure. Second game even made it worse. They are also now talking about changing captaincy. They just appointed a new coach for the new coach, but so there's a lot of instability there and a lot of questions around players. So likely they're not playing tough opponents going forward, but I think the damage has been done already.
Yeah, I didn't see this happening. I thought India would have been that one team that could potentially stop this bloody English team that's rollicking forward with great batting displays. But yeah, it just doesn't seem.
But tell me that. You remember we did the analysis of India versus Pakistan, and you probably said in the group those are the two favorites to go out. So what went so monumentally wrong for India? Do you think that they find themselves in this position? I mean, this is not even the group of death.
Yeah. So I think sorry, Tumelo. Yeah. So I think we did mention in that episode that Pakistan remain a dangerous opponent for India. They were the favorite, but it's not like Pakistan were out in where we counted them out, except for Tumelo. We even gave the margin, I remember. And Pakistan, they're doing very well. So that game, there was always a chance of them losing. And New Zealand, we know what New Zealand does when it comes to this competition. You can never count them out. So those two matches were the two critical matches, and unfortunately they lost them, and where they are now.
Yeah, I think we look more at. I think I looked more at individuals rather than the form that the individuals were carrying into the competition. Virat has not done well in T20s for quite a while now. I mean, if you look at his IPL this year, it wasn't all that great. And even before that, he wasn't doing fantastically well. So I think the name sort of took over to say, big competition, big players stand up. Your Rohit would stand up, your KL Rahul would stand up, your Virat will stand up, and that just simply hasn't happened. Jadeja came in with decent form, and he even hasn't delivered the same form that he delivered in the IPL. So I think they're blaming all sorts of things. The bubble, they've been in a bubble for way too long, and because we haven't been in a similar situation in a similar bubble. We might not understand exactly what goes on in a man's psyche, having been stuck in a bubble for that long, and maybe that's what broke the camel's back. But all in all, very disappointing from India.
Okay, so let's just go over the games that India have left. Then it's over, and they go back to India. It won't be a long trip in any case. So they've got India, Scotland tomorrow. it's obvious that India is going to win that one. I think India will be watching the game on Sunday, the one between New Zealand and Afghanistan, and hoping that somehow Afghanistan can pull a miracle over there, and then they finish off against Namibia. In that run rate, they can push it as far as possible, but they still need New Zealand to stumble along the way and lose one, which is highly unlikely. But anyway, you guys are saying India is not going into the next round, so we're possibly looking at semi-final matchups, England versus New Zealand, Pakistan versus South Africa.
Hopefully.
The last one. The last one, yeah, we don't know about that one. But again, guys, I don't think the worst that could happen is Afghanistan strangling New Zealand and winning, and they don't make it to the semi-final. But that is very possible. They have they have two good spinners. They have two good spinners that could strangle New Zealand.
It's like South Africa smashing England. You know, we in fairy tale land.
Brian, I'll play this video when Afghanistan strangles New Zealand. I don't think it's that far-fetched.
You don't have to quote me, Chief. I'm live. Thanks very much.
Yes, guys.